and we're going through today. Raising Hell, Run DMC. Haven't
Ooh.
seen it. We reviewed the first album. We said it was absolutely classic. You know gave it really only thing you can say about it is that they don't rap as well as current rappers, modern day rappers, but they have that first album had like no skips. So let's see if Raising Hell stands makes that same meets that same standard. So let's go to the first track. Let me pull up Raising Hell here.
Yeah, man. This album's great. The most classic intro song, or one of the most classic standard like DJing songs that you ever heard in your life.
So it is a great. I mean, okay. So let's talk about Bryson. You the hater of '80s music. So when you heard this, you put this on.
100%.
You put this on. What you thought? You were like,
I didn't put this on. That's what I didn't do. So I'm looking at this album for the first time because I said I'm not reviewing 80s music. I'm boycotting our own podcast, 80s music review. But Peter Piper, okay. Famous song. It's tricky. Famous song. Heard that. First of all, I didn't know they made It's Tricky. But
Oh
my
my
Adidas.
wait, what?
My God.
What? This
I
is
never
why you're supposed
cared
to
to
listen
learn
to
who
the
made
music
it.
This
before.
is embarrassment,
You
man.
come on, you embarrassing us, bro. Come on.
My Adidas, I heard that and walked this way. And I think that's it.
All
4
right.
out of
Well,
12.
we'll talk about those when we get to them, man. We
Yeah.
gotta go through that. We gotta go through the album, get this album the respect it deserves, because this album is fantastic, man.
That's super trash. Yeah, shame on you, Preston. Shame on you. So this is awesome. I mean, I thought it was dope. I mean, they come up with it's like some real nursery rhyme type stuff, but they make it sound so dope and fun. And we talk about they do the back and forth thing throughout the album, and it's just fun, man. Like even if they have their rhyming, or what people like to say, their technical proficiency is not as they're not as technically proficient as, I don't know why people like to use those words, as some of modern rappers. The albums are fun. The music is exciting. I'm just not bored listening to this. So that Peter Piper is a great song. Yeah, I really can't hate on it.
Come on, man.
You're
And
not
that beat
bored
is
listening
classic,
to?
man. Look how classic that beat is, man. There's a reason why it's used all the time, everywhere. Basically, any party, anywhere hip hop is at, you might hit Peter Piper. Like it's a thing.
Mm-hmm. And then It's Tricky. I mean, this is got to be the most classic song.
Super overplayed.
Yeah, super overplayed, but it's great. I never get tired of it. I never get tired of it. This song.
Well, this song is funny because it's all about how it's hard to rap. Like it's not easy to rap. It's not just nursery rhymes and like stuff like that. But even though they're not that technically proficient or whatever, like how you would say it, it's not lyrical miracle, but it's hard to do it. So it's like it's tricky. It's funny. It's a funny song.
Yeah, and then it's always like they always have this in movies and stuff like that. When people start breakdancing to it and stuff like that.
Remember SSX Tricky? And it'll come on like constantly every time you start doing all the tricks. You never played that game?
No, I don't know.
Oh, you never played SSX?
I don't know.
The snowboarder where you do all the tricks?
The snowboarding game.
Yeah. No, I know that game.
One of the games was called SSX Tricky, and this song would play constantly.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So this is everywhere, and it's me to make a song. We just gotta. There's so many songs on this album, and even on their first album and their second album, but they got songs from. This is made in '86 that are still played today. That everyone knows this song. To make a song that everyone knows 40 years later, is like that's. Like I don't feel like we give that enough credit. Like that is elite level, whatever you want to call it, songwriting. Hit making, like
Even on our own podcast, we got people hating on this type of accomplishment in hip hop. That's monumental. Some of these songs are like as high of a praise you could put in hip hop culture. Like it's nothing better than. Or there's nothing higher to me than Peter Piper, like in the culture at all.
Yeah. And then My Adidas. super big song, another big song. What can we say about that? That's
It's
classic,
iconic.
classic, iconic.
That's why they got their own shoes. That's why it's been their shoes since '86 or whatever. Like everybody knows, you got the shell toes on. Boom, that's some Run DMC type stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why people love Adidas tracksuits because of them.
Yeah. And then when we get to Walk This Way with Aerosmith. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about. I mean, again, this is another huge song that everyone knows. But I wanted to talk about, because we're gonna talk about it the next album we get to too, that the mix, the blend of rock and hip hop. Their second album was King of Rock. They constantly reference being the kings of rock in this album as well. They have a lot of rock samples on these albums. Rick Rubin, obviously, Def Jam, co-founder, helped produce all of this album, and he did a lot of rock sounds on radio with LL Cool J. Did rock sounds on the DMC albums and on the Beastie Boys albums that we're gonna cover next. So I wanted to ask, like, then this rock and rap, thing, they were. Like, it seemed like they were both cool. But in my era growing up, it always seemed like people think of rock as white people music and like the furthest thing from hip hop. So I wonder I wanted to talk about, where do y'all think that change occurred? What made that occur?
Well, I mean, similar to other genres at that time, or as rock had been around for what, 40, 50 years at this point. Could be wrong on the time frame. I'm not a rock historian. 30, 40 years. It had been around, and it had taken different forms.
Maybe 20 years, man.
Okay.
Like the rock that people start talking about rock, they talk about like the Beatles. That's
the Beatles.
The Beatles aren't the beginning of rock, are they?
Yeah.
They're not the beginning. I mean, what are you talking about? Would it be
like Chuck Berry or something like that?
Okay, so
what is
that's
Elvis?
just not the same type of sound that we're talking about.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So the sound different. Changed over time.
Yes,
just like hip hop has in its times, right? So, in other genres. So what happened? I would say, and this is my guessing, but rock took different changes in the '90s. And it kind of split further away from where maybe it was a more universal thing into being, you had grunge and all these type of different movements that kind of took it out of some of those elements that Black people were really relating to and riding with. And so maybe that's why people started saying that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really sure, but I know that they have many subdivisions of rock, and now, as opposed to maybe in different times it was less different versions, and then it's kind of kept splitting into more versions. And so of course some people would be like, hey, that's not us, we're not with that. But there's some other stuff that people do like, or that I would say that's probably more universal.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because it's so prevalent in their sound, in this early Def Jam sound, that and it just doesn't continue into the 90s. It's over. I mean, the rock stuff is, even Public Enemy has the rock sound, and then it's like,
that's because
like
of technology, isn't that?
Technology? What's technology got?
Technology's a part of it.
How's
the
that
sound changed because people were able to make synthesizers, make all those weird beats in the 90s. They had all the samplings, and all that started coming in the 90s that they didn't have in the 80s.
But they're sampling rock music.
Well, the sampling was always around. Sampling was always around.
Yeah, but it's live instruments. In the 90s, they stopped using as much live instruments.
But they're sampling rock.
No, they're sampling less.
It's not live.
The sample is like the
less in the 90s. Yeah.
And looped.
The way the people aren't playing the instruments that can make that sound.
Oh, you mean like
they're sampling?
Like
yes,
like that type of stuff.
Stuff like that.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not saying
they make different sounds in the 90s.
They can't. They didn't do that in the 80s at all. There was nobody making songs like that.
Okay, all right, I understand. So just the sound change for hip hop. It's just funny to me because we always in these hip hop discussions, people are always like, "That's hip hop. That's not hip hop. This sound is hip hop. That's not hip hop." These people stayed true to the sound. These people didn't stay true to the sound. We're gonna talk about that more when we get to Drake and stuff too. But it's just funny because the sound is so different in this moment than anything. When we start going later. So that's why I was just interested.
And I feel like I've been victim
It's
of
a
saying,
terrible
"Oh, I've
argument,
said
though.
that stupid stuff when I was younger, man." But that's not really what hip hop is, man.
Yeah, that's not
because it is taking different sounds. It's about taking weird sounds, different sounds that you wouldn't expect, and doing different things with them, and making them sound like something different, and changing them up, or using them in a way that people wouldn't expect. I mean, that is really a big part of it. That's what the best DJs do. That's what the best producers are going to do, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was watching an interview with Ice-T on and this is a tangent, but Ice-T was on Questlove's podcast. I watched an interview with him, and he made a rock band or whatever. He had a rock band, and he was saying that that hip hop is rock, and that rock is more rock and roll is more about the attitude and stuff, and the rebellion of the social norms and things like that, and hip hop is the same, just from urban standpoint, just from a black perspective more, and that they're not different, culturally so much, but
yeah, I mean, didn't Ice-T win a Grammy for his Body Count group in the last like 2-3 years, something like that? So yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. But it's just interesting tangent. Just to talk about since obviously, "Walk This Way" is a huge song with a rock, with the rock feature. We don't have many of those.
Run DMC was always with the rock stuff. They were always the kings of rock. They started that always. That was always their thing. But yeah, that song was a little overplayed too. Over the years, but it's a great song. There's a reason why it's overplayed so much.
Yeah, but just that was
a big
song.
moment and look for hip hop at that time too. They had to put them on MTV and all that type of stuff because they were like, "Oh, look what they're doing."
Yeah, yeah. And so those first 4 songs to have such huge hits on your first 4 songs, to have all-time hits, all-time hip hop hits, all in one song. I mean, on one album. That's huge. I don't know if there's 4 more, like long-standing songs on another album. I mean, that I think would be tough to find, like just a run of 4 songs like that on another album. So then let's move on. Is It Live? I think it's a dope song.
Yep.
Perfection, I do not like.
Perfection is one of the worst ones on the
I didn't like that one at all. So, and then, but this is where I thought they started to get where I thought the album hit a little bit of a low.
Mm-hmm.
So Hit It Run and Raising Hell. Is It Live, Perfection, Hit It Run, and Raising Hell. All of them are kind of more like them trying to just like bar up the tracks more so. They're just kind of rapping, trying to show their rapping abilities. It's less like party like, less hype. Just more trying to just bars, and I think that's their weakness. Bars are not like, So when I'm listening to these rhymes, they aren't impressive rappers. So maybe in that time they might have been. In '86, they may have been, I don't know, impressing some people. But to me, listening to today, I was listening to these songs and just kind of feeling like, all right, like when you gonna get back to more of the fun
I
stuff?
still like Hit It Run, but yeah, I mean, I think Hit It Run is a lot of that fun stuff. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. I think Raising Hell is my favorite out of those 4.
Raising Hell is good. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
None of these are bad songs, man. So.
No, not at all. And then You Be Illin' is when they get back to the fun stuff. This is what I love it
classic. That's what I'm saying. That's a classic.
Yeah, this is. See, this is Bryce. Did you hear? You should have heard the song because You Be Illin'. They be talking about all your bad sports takes right there.
Yep.
You be screaming touchdown at the basketball game.
Yep.
Yeah, that's you, man.
I scream touchdown all the time.
This song is
say
hilarious.
bang when a receiver gets a good catch. like I'm Mike Green. That's why I want a soundboard. I am Bang and Touchdown Guy. I say that all the time. So
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, this is a great song, classic song. And what you think about
Dumb
Dumb Girl?
Girl. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. That's that's been reused a lot. So that's a classic song.
Yeah. And those are yeah, I think the story type of rhymes like these are like classic. These funny story rhymes. I feel like they don't get old. Like you could go back and tell like they don't get played out. Like if I go and show this funny song, so it's like it's just funny. Like I don't know. It doesn't to me. It doesn't lose value or lose like I don't know. It doesn't become outdated because it's just I don't know. It has its own value in being funny. That's how I feel. Bryson, you clearly feel differently.
I don't agree with that. I don't think you can play this album for kids nowadays and they'd appreciate it the same.
Yeah, but kids are stupid.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm not talking about. I wasn't talking about kids specifically. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about anyone who's interested in listening to some old music. I think this has its own value. If you heard this song for the first time, it's just funny. It's the same like when we were talking about some of those Eminem first albums and those funny songs. Like it's just if a song makes you laugh, you can't that value doesn't go away. Like something that makes you laugh.
Not just that, but this stuff. I mean, like I said, you talk about a song like "Dumb Girl." "Dumb Girl" might be like the 8th best song on this album, man.
Mm-hmm.
But "Dumb Girl" been used over and over by people. People done took the ideas, the sounds, the bars. People done said them in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Half the rappers out here done used them or quoted them or cited them in some kind of way. Like this type of stuff is foundational, man. Like it's got to be respected.
Yeah,
I just had too much, and so that's the thing with when we review these albums. I have too much reverence for the culture, so it's like when I listen to these songs, I'm like, okay, I've heard that used or copied or taken so many times that it's hard for me to be like, oh well, I don't like this song. Like, what am I talking about? This is too big, and it's too big.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
get it,
mind.
but I don't.
I can easily say if I don't like the song, like it's just that these songs seem genuinely great to me. I'm not, whether I don't.
No, I mean I like the song, but what I'm saying is, to me, like the hate that Bryson given is like inappropriate, like it's disrespectful.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like that's people are like, I don't know, man. It's held in such a high regard because it's one of the first, of course. So of course it's always going to get its flowers as that. That doesn't mean it's as good.
But see,
I think
that's what I disagree with. Like I said, a song like "You Be Illin," if you could show me another song that has like a modern day song, because they don't. My thing is, modern day people don't. They just don't make funny songs like these.
Nobody wants to be funny.
Nobody wants to be funny. Nobody wants to tell a funny story. These songs are. They have a. That's what I'm saying. If there were better versions of this, I would be here hating. But there's not. Like
there's not a ton of people in the funny lane. I mean, Redman, Danny Brown, there's not a ton of MCs that's like, oh, Action Bronson's funny sometimes. I just don't think a lot of people want to be funny. Most people want to be like feared or whatever, I guess. Like I'm gonna kill so many people or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't get that.
I mean, I think that's probably more of the sales route, but I don't know. And then "Son of Byford," I don't love that song. That's one of my least favorite ones on here. And I like "Proud to Be Black." I like what they're saying, but it's not a song that I'm trying to bump all the time.
Oh, I love this song. I love the song. I like the "Proud to Be Black" one.
I just don't think it's nearly as good as the other songs that I talked about.
No, I'm not saying it's as good as some of the other ones, but I feel like this song is underrated in that I don't hear it. I haven't heard it a billion times. You know what I mean? Like I think this song was pleasant surprise to me because these songs
to me they're not gonna give the spotlight record labels and stuff in general to songs like that. But
right, and that's what I'm saying. That's messed up. I think it's a dope song. I don't know. It's a dope song to me.
Yeah, I got nothing bad to say about it.
So
I just don't think it's the other ones that we talked about.
All right, so overall, we got to rate it then.
There's two
Which
on
way?
here I don't really like, and then a couple on here that got played out I never want to hear again, like My Adidas and Walk This Way.
Mhm.
But it don't mean that those songs are bad. I just heard them way too many times. It's tricky, same thing. But I still love Peter Piper when I hear it. I love Peter Piper when I hear it. That never bothered me. The turntable mind wobble, but they don't fall down. Like, yeah, I love Peter Piper.
So, what you
So
rating
what's
it?
your rating?
Oh, rating the classic 10. Well, I'll say like me listening to it right now. How many songs would I throw on my playlist right now? I would
Mhm.
throw about 4 of these songs on my playlist.
Oh, see,
Where I would listen to them many more times. So Dumb Girl, because I forgot about Dumb Girl. I ain't listened to that one that much. Raising Hell. And then, like I said, there's like 4 of them on here that I just heard too many times. Like I don't hate the songs. I like the songs. I just heard It's Tricky, My Adidas, Walk This Way too many times, man.
Yeah, I don't. But to me, I can't
To put on my
hate
phone and be walking
songs.
around listening to them
Yeah.
again, like I'm not gonna do that. I'm sure I'll hear them on a TV show real soon.
Yeah, they'll play it on somewhere soon. To me, the only skips well, it's that middle section that I talked about that I feel like is forgettable to me. Tracks 5 through 8, really, or 5 to 7, really. I like because I like Raising Hell a lot more. And then the Son of Byford song, I give this album an 8. To me, strong 8. Yeah, I would I enjoyed listening to I would say I enjoyed listening to this slightly less than I enjoyed listening to the comedy. So yeah.
Slightly less.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed listening to this for sure. And I put this on a couple weeks ago, and then we thought we were going to talk about it. I listened to it again, yesterday in the car with my kids. We were going somewhere. The kids were loving it. I mean, it was good times in my van. So